What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at it again with another video. So I want to check out, can you daily drive a Bugatti? Now, the short and simple answer is yes. If you got the money like that to pay for the expenses for everything that you would need to replace on the car, on the regular, yes, you can daily a Bugatti. Most people don't, but if you got the bread to do it, I'm sure you can. The question is, should you be doing it? Well, that's up to you. At the end of the day, you're driving a Bugatti, so I don't think you're stretched for cash living check to check. I can assume that just off the rip. So we're going to check this out. This should be a pretty good one. It's really just a video to flex off the Bugatti. And hey, if you worked hard enough, you got the money to get you a Bugatti, ain't nothing wrong with showing that bad boy off on a day-to-day basis. I know I fucking would, or at least a semi-regular basis. But we're gonna check this out. Appreciate all the love and support y'all have shown on the channel, man. We're gonna run it up all 2025, so thank y'all for just the subscriptions y'all shown so far, and the love and the comments that y'all have shown so far in 2024, and it's gonna be even better in 2025. All right, let's check this bad boy out.
This morning, my daughter asked me if I would drive her to school in the orange car. She loves the Diablo. She loves the rhinestone.
The fact that he has a choice to take his daughter to school in a Diablo, that is a great childhood to have. That's all I'm saying. If your parents can pick you up in a Bugatti or a Diablo from school, what awesome childhood.
Stones and the lights and the noise and the fact that she can shift it with her left hand from the passenger seat. And so we did that. And what should have been about an 8-minute drive round trip turned into 45 due to some construction in my area. And you really feel a low-speed drive for nearly an hour in a Lamborghini Diablo. But it kind of begs the question of, like, what can you daily drive? And so I thought today it would be an awful lot of fun to look at whether or not you could run all the errands that I've got to do today in my Bugatti Veyron. I know I could do it in the Diablo, and I've done it in many Lamborghinis for many, many years, but this being the latest.
Such an awesome flex. I love it. I can't even hate. That's awesome.
This thing to the collection, and honestly, something that should be capable to do absolutely everything for what it's worth. That felt like a fun test, because when I contemplate owning a car, one of the first questions I'll ask somebody is like, can you take it somewhere? Because there's plenty of A to A cars where you could take it up to the mountains, you could take it around the block, you could go drive the car and bring it right back here, and it would be just fine. But I like a car that I can take on a road trip, that I can run around town in, that I can do a lot with. And that's what I want to find out.
And I do the same thing. You know, my black Mercedes, I definitely, took it on road trips to visit my dad. I drove it all around the city, car cruises, all that. But when I got the red GT, I more or less did the same thing. I definitely took it on road trips to visit my dad's, drove it around the city, drove it to Galveston on car cruises and stuff. And that's the thing. They're meant to be driven around. And that's a big thing for me in getting a vehicle, because I don't want the vehicle just to sit there and collect dust. Some people do. It's more of a collector's item. Fine. Do what you want. It's your money. You bought the vehicle. For me, I'm going to drive this motherfucker around because I paid all this money. I'm paying for insurance. I might as well drive it, have some fun in it, and enjoy the car while I have it. So that's just my philosophy, and I kind of agree with him on that one.
About the Bugatti. So let's take it out and see how it does today.
That's such an awesome flex, man. You can't tell me that ain't just a cool flex, man. Look at that.
I've now owned my Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport for a little more than 3 months, and I've driven it a little more than 2,500 miles. And if you're wondering if the newness and the insanity of the fact that I can just hop in a Bugatti and just drive it wherever I want to has worn off, it has not. Every time I start this car, I get this giddy, this excited to be able to drive it anywhere. But the question of whether or not you could viably daily drive this car is, I don't know, I suppose up for some debate. And so that's what I want to talk about today. So we're going to run a few errands and see how the car does. But the immediate thing that you notice in a Bugatti is that it is such a civilized and composed road car. It's not rattling, it's not squeaking, it's manageable at low throttle, it's delightful at low speeds, it's not trying to take off like crazy. I'm cruising around at 2,000 RPM and 35 miles an hour, and the car is content. It's not trying to overheat. Everything is okay. Now, there's a lot of cars where that would not necessarily be the case, where they'd be bucking and screaming and throwing lights and misfiring and errors and things like that. But that's not the case here, even on a 12-year-old car that hasn't necessarily...
We ain't just going to sit here and not admire this Porsche in the back. We ain't just going to sit here and not admire this classic Porsche in the back. And we just got to show love. That nice shot of beautiful cars.
lived a very good life. Now, it is reasonable to question the economic viability of doing this, considering the tires are $40,000 and the servicing is $20,000 or $30,000 a year, and everything's expensive and everything is kind of known to break. But so far, knock on, there's nothing wood in this thing. It's been a great car. Nothing is broken. There's no error lights. I'm not having any trouble with the car. It's been amazing. And I have driven it on 2 very long trips, about 750 miles home from Miami when I bought it from Bugatti Broward. And just over the weekend, I drove it about 600 miles round trip to the Hilton Head Island Concours. And it's been perfect. It is such a good road trip car. It is so comfortable, even at 6'5". It's got the seats out of a Bentley Continental Super Sport that I just love. I love them in my Bentley Continental Super Sport from Car Trek 8. And so I could not be any happier to be in the car. The visibility is nice. There is no room for anything. Now, you can't put a briefcase or really anything in the front, and anything that is in the front is going to become about 175 degrees Fahrenheit, which is problematic. My wife was going to tag along with me to the Hilton Head Concours, and I had gotten her for an entire 3-day weekend to pack in the space that is available, which was primarily hanging some stuff on the back of the passenger seat and a small bag at her feet in front of her. But unfortunately, one of our kids got sick and she was not able to attend. But as something that can just gobble up highway miles at truly any speed, it does really, really well. Now, my first stop is somewhere that is a little bit of a product of just the nature of using this car. I have to go to the bank, not to make my payment, but because I did have several places over the last weekend where I needed to park the car in a valet environment.
I'm willing to bet that payment was ridiculously expensive.
And the best way to do that in a high-end car is to pull up to the valet, immediately hand him $20 and ask him if you can park it yourself. And at the Westin at Hilton Head, where the Concours was, they were very, very happy to do that. In general, even though they would be excited for the chance to drive a car like this, they realize that they're not supposed to from an insurance perspective. And so I just pulled it right into their lot, backed it in nicely, and left it parked like a normal car. And when you talk about daily driving an exotic car, that is one of my first primary pieces of advice, is just treat it like a normal car. If you don't occupy too much space in a parking lot or on a road or anything like that, if you abide by most people's expectations of vehicle operation, in general, everyone treats it quite nicely. If you park across multiple spaces or where you're not supposed to, that's where people very justifiably get upset. So I'm going to pull up to the bank, get some cash out of the ATM, and then we're off to the next stop.
Pulling up to the bank in your fucking Bugatti is just... Anything he does in this car becomes just a different level of flex. Yes, it is just another vehicle, but it's not just another vehicle. It is a fucking Bugatti. So if he pulls up to the bank teller sees, ooh, he's in a Bugatti. Pulls up to the grocery store, obviously he would probably park a little bit further back than everybody else. Still, ooh, that's Bugatti at a grocery store. Pull up to a fast food restaurant, ooh, hey, that's Bugatti going through a fast food restaurant. It's different. I've never actually seen one in person yet, and I hopefully to get to be able to go to like a coffee and cars this year and actually see one and record it. I've never seen a Bugatti in person, ever, and I want to. So hopefully that can happen this year.
And found myself a free spicy chicken sandwich car.
So might as well go to Chick-fil-A.
Has got to be for a free lunch. All right, making our way through the...
You can never be too rich to take a free lunch. Always remember that, y'all. If you get a coupon, don't forget where you came from. Don't be like, I don't need this. You can never be too rich to take some free food.
marvel of engineering that is the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. Dear God, please bless this chicken and do not let my Bugatti overheat in the drive-thru. I wonder what's worth more, this complimentary spicy chicken sandwich or the tire consumption from circling this building 3 times to get to it. Oh, about 220 on the degreeses.
Damn.
Hey.
Hi, may I have a name for your order?
Ed.
All right, how may I serve you?
Just a chicken sandwich.
Chicken sandwich? Can you turn that around for me?
So tough, man.
And you all set, sir?
Thank you. Didn't get a you're welcome.
You got my pleasure, though.
Delivery zone. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, bro. That is a sick car.
All right.
That is a sick-ass
Some
car.
air through those radiators. Bleeding some heat off unnecessarily through the old ventilations. So yeah, it is a very hard car to get in and out of when parked. The door sills are very wide due to the tub design. You sit a little bit further forward, so your left foot is right against the wheel well, and so you have to get it out, which if it's size 14, that does not fit between the front of the seat in the furthest back position and the edge of the firewall, so you got to articulate, which is a challenge. And I am not what the yoga instructors would call flexible. So next we're going to go up and see Mr. Cameron at DC Motor Works. He's just about done with the final remaining punch list items on the Verde Draco LP640, and he and the team have been trying to remove a PAX tire from an older Bugatti Veyron rim that I had bought on eBay to see if we were able to find some used tires, if he would be able to dismount these and mount nicer tires that don't cost me $40,000.
Damn. And that's the crazy thing. It's the fact that these tires are so fucking expensive. That's some people's yearly salary on tires. Like what you make in a year sometimes for some people are just on one set of tires. It's not including anything else, just tires. We're not even talking about brakes. We're not even talking about, anything that needs to be replaced on the engine itself. Just tires. Easily $40K. Gone.
Now, the greatest thing about daily driving an exotic car is that it can make low-speed driving and commuting and dealing with tighter situations enjoyable and special, differently than you'd get out of a normal, everyday consumer car. And I have to say, this does that. It makes everywhere you go feel like an event and feel worthwhile and interesting. It makes every day fun. However,
awesome.
When you get the chance, it still does that. And that is awesome. Whee!
I'll be in a kid in a candy store excited. Look at that, man.
It makes all the whooshing noises. The way the turbos lag on the Veyron is one of the things that people say is not quite as fun about a Chiron. Oh, my. This is what opens the front. That fell off. Don't worry about that. If the only thing that was different about your commute every day was that when there was no one in front of you, you could do this.
That sounds so fun.
It
looks
all the
fun.
more better. No, Veyron is a big, heavy automobile. That being said, it does handle remarkably well. The steering is heavy but very direct, unlike something that would be totally electronic. I mean, it's just nice to have that kind of feel. The ratio is nice. The gearbox, for an early DCT that is built to handle the kind of torque and power that this car has, honestly, it does really well. It does get abysmal fuel economy. When you drive like that, it gets like 5 or 6 miles a gallon.
Ooh.
Average, though, I'm about 11, which is a lot. 11.
Jesus. But once again, you're in a Bugatti. You don't care about 5 miles a gallon. Does it take the practicality of being a daily driver away? Possibly. It is kind of wild. But averaging 11 is still even wilder. But once again, you're in a Bugatti. You make money. This means nothing to you.
It's a lot of miles for a whole gallon of gasoline. Take that, dump truck.
What?
Whee! Whee!
You're just having a grand old time, bro.
Now, one thing you do develop a consciousness of is that.
Yeah.
How much more fun that Miata's day was because he drove next to this car for a little while.
Facts.
And that's how I feel when I happen across somebody else who's actually out using and driving their super cool car.
Yeah.
It's awesome when people are driving these things. And so it's not lost on me that truck driver and everybody else around is having a little bit more fun today because they saw this car.
Yes.
He's happy.
I mean, that's tough. That's cool. That you don't see it often. So when you see somebody driving it around, hey, show respect. Hey, I love to see it. Anytime I've seen somebody in a nice exotic or a dope car, I'm like, damn, man, that shit look tough. It brightens up your day as a car person, or someone that you admire a beautiful piece of machinery. It's cool to be like, give that person a thumbs up. Hey, that's a nice car. I love it. It could possibly make someone's day that much better.
You're not paying what these cars cost just for that reason, but it is nice when everybody else kind of appreciates it. I was talking to Doug DeMuro about his Carrera GT, and the fact that everybody drives up to him and says, hey, is that the new Boxster? Does make it not quite as fun as it could be if it was like, oh, look at your 7-figure Porsche Carrera GT. He likes my Bugatti, but he doesn't like Tyler's. So we're gonna head over here and see Cameron Davis and the team at DC Motor Works. They've been knocking out a few last punch list items with the Verde Draco LP640. It was frying fuses for the secondary air pump. There was a clearance issue because of the aftermarket paint work was a little more thick on the rear spoiler, so whenever it would go up at like 65 miles an hour, it would throw an error on the dash. It would return back to the right height. But he was shaving that off, which he was very nervous about. I was excited to see. I told him the right combination of metallic Sharpies to cover up dots on Verde Draco paint. And he's also been trying to get the tire off of the spare wheel that I was able to buy off eBay. It's an early Veyron wheel to see if he would be able to mount and dismount these PAX tires. Last I heard, he had not had any success at that, but hey, it's a whole new day.
My man ain't got no worries, no qualms. And I ain't mad at him because he's driving around in a Bugatti Veyron.
Temperature's fine. Everything's happy. Ow.
It's the getting out process.
It is still very much attached, this tire, to this rim. So there's like 3 different beads. The bead goes on the outside of the front, and then there's this giant sort of ridge that rests between 2 lips on the inside of the rim, and then there's the rear bead, which is actually comes out. And so you have to reverse mount the tires, which means you have to take it off this direction, but nobody has a good answer. We need more people that cannot afford things to own these cars so that we can band together and not die of tires exploding.
My man is over here trying to find a way to get these other used Bugatti tires, spare tires, so he can potentially use them, save him damn near $40,000. Once again, not mad at it. He got another Lambo,
you can't
too.
see that at all. It's perfect. They shaved a lot off. like a lot of Volkswagen Group products, at speed, this spoiler comes up. And the issue that we'd had before is that when they reassembled the car after painting it, they didn't actually attach the arms that lift it to the spoiler. So it was just kind of resting here and it would flop or whatever. I didn't notice that, but Cameron did when he put it back together the right way. And then we found that there was a clearance issue. So recently they shaved off the edge because it had been rubbing right there, and they were able to recolor it with a combination of metallic Sharpies. And he says we're now in business. Of course he's busy, but everything seems under control here. Let's go drive the Bugatti more.
He's just living a great
now,
life.
One issue with daily driving a Bugatti is that the turning radius is abysmal. So a normal U-turn, not available. So you needed an extra lane from everything that you would anticipate in order to get the car turned around. Parking lots are a struggle.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And that, of course, is the question, because you do want to be able to park the car. You want to be able to go up hills and stuff like that. This does not have a front-end lift system like most of the Lamborghinis do. And so that is a factor. But generally, most of the places that I'm driving to for lunch or whatever to just sit and park are going to be relatively flat. But whenever you're driving a car of this value, you do have that thought process of like, is it safe for me to try to get this car to that place? And most of the time, it is. It's not that big of a deal. You find a place, you be a little bit careful, but again, you just treat it like a normal.
If I was able to own one of these, I'm gonna be honest with you, there's a lot of car meets I would never take this to, ever. Most of them would probably be the coffee and cars situations, or, situation places where I know it's going to be some cops there. They're going to have certain sections blocked off, all types of shit. It's certain car meets I would take this to, not to a lot of them. I'm going to just keep it a buck because, yeah, you got to be careful, especially when other people are doing stupid stuff at car meets and stuff like that. Gotta be careful. And, certain places you shouldn't take this to, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you know some of the roads and the pathways and, kind of messed up or whatnot. So you always gotta be wary of that. Even just in, something that you spend a lot of money on. It may not be like an exotic, but it's your dream car. You spend a lot of money, you worked hard to get it. You kind of gotta be careful of where to take it and where not to take it. And that's just comes from knowing your city and knowing where to go and where not to go. So
car, and everybody else will too. So can you daily drive a Bugatti? Absolutely. And like I said, I've driven a whole lot further in cars that were a whole lot worse, but honestly, it does everything that you ask it to. And the best part about it is that it turns something totally mundane into a truly extraordinary experience. And so I fall more and more in love with the car every time I drive it, especially every time I drive it hard. And I'm getting to do that more and more often. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll certainly keep driving it, and I will let you know how it goes.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, bro. Like, it seems like this guy has a nice collection of cars. I'm not even mad at it. One day I would hope to be able to have something like that. Granted, I don't know if I need that many cars. I'm more of a, there's probably one other vehicle that I would want to obtain, and I'm kind of good on that. But for the most part, I follow that sentiment. Right now, my E43, the black Benz, is in the shop right now. It's getting some maintenance and stuff done, so trying to get that all sorted out. So I can only right now daily drive the red GT right now. And you know what? I'm okay with it because I normally only pull out the car for like car meets, and usually I try to do that on the weekend. So for the majority of the week, I'm not driving a red car. It's under the car cover, under like this, garage. Well, not garage, but it's like this car covering. Like I have a car cover, and then there's like a shed over it to keep it from the elements and rain and stuff like that. So usually I don't drive it much, but since my other car's in the shop, I'm driving this one pretty much every day until the other one gets out. And I'm okay with that. I'm actually enjoying that. Like just doing normal things like running errands and stuff in the car. I love it because, it's something that I bought and something that I appreciate and worked hard for. So definitely, if you buy a car and it's your dream car, drive it. Drive it. Don't sit there and try, I got it. No. because honestly, anything can happen. So you might as well enjoy your car while you can and try to keep it in good condition and all this other stuff, and try to be wary of hazardous stuff on the roads. But drive it. Don't you spend all your money on it and you worked hard for it. Drive what you worked your ass for, what your ass off for, and enjoy it while you can, because at the end of the day, tomorrow's not promised to us. So that's why we got to live every day like it's your last, and just enjoy the things that you worked hard for. Comment down below, let me know some other car related videos y'all want me to check out. I definitely will. Appreciate all the love, support. Road to 20K, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.